topic that we have for today is understanding emotional needs of adolescents. Can I get at least one or two response if my voice is clear and the PDF is shared with everyone? Okay, thank you. So let's continue with the session. So the picture on your screen that you are seeing today, uh, it's a story of Good Samaritan. But then you must be thinking why we are talking about Good Samaritan when the topic is understanding the emotional needs of students. So when we talk about the emotional needs, one of the things that comes to my mind, I think that we all should follow is empathy. It is through empathy that we are able to connect with the other person. We are able to understand their difficulty, and we are able to place ourselves in the place of the other person, and then we can see what are their needs and when we can help. So through this session we will be trying to understand what are the emotional needs of students, and what how can we teachers uh, help these students. So let's understand first of all what is adolescence. So adolescence is a period of transition, a period of change. We all know that teenage is a crucial stage for all the all people everyone who goes through this. So during this stage, there are so many changes happening in the mindset or in the body, physical changes, emotional changes, social changes, intellectual changes. So the age group that we can put from the age group of 12 to 18, we understand that a person is adolescent. So before we continue with the session, can I get a few quick responses from you? What do you think that the challenges that the what challenges do adolescents come across? What are the difficulties that they face? Can you please quickly put in here? All right. So the challenges that the adolescents come across, we will be seeing in the coming up slides. I just wanted to get few responses from you. Yes, somebody, Shweta ma'am is writing emotional changes. Yes, there are emotional changes due to the lot of changes in the hormones. There are emotional changes like they feel attracted to someone, or they get more angry, or they feel like they want to achieve something at that moment only. There is less patience. Of course, all those changes are there. So this topic, as we are understanding this, I would like to share with you that why we are talking about this. So when we talk about the holistic growth of the child, when we are talking that the child has to be smart enough in all ways, he has to speak well, he has to act well, he has to understand the things well. We basically in the schools we are trying our best to make our children as holistically developed. We have a lot of programs where we develop the mental abilities of children, like we have the academic programs, then we have the interactions or different group activities where children play together, they have competitions, so they also learn to work in a group, they also learn to work together. So there are various developments happening. So one of the development that at times we tend to skip is the emotional development of the child. At times when a child says that I'm not feeling well, or I am going through this problem, or I am tensed about my exams, so there is very little scope where children are getting that kind of assistance where they can talk to. Of course, in most of the schools there are counselors who are helping and guiding the children. That is there, but then I think we have to still more. We have to work on ourselves to equip ourselves sufficiently so that our children can benefit from ourselves. So, what is this emotional development? Adolescence is a time of significant emotional development marked by the exploration and understanding complex emotions. teens begin to develop a stronger sense of self-awareness and empathy, leading to more nuanced emotional changes. So, common emotional challenges that I was asking you a question earlier, I have put few here. One of the challenges that the teenagers or the adolescents will come across is that they may have identity crisis. Like they want to pretend someone and they want to become like someone, but their physical appearance may not be as like the other or whom they are imitating. Then there will be, of course, a lot of peer pressures in the classroom where children are studying together. One child may be scoring less, the other child also may be trying his best, but then he may not be scoring as much as the other person has done. There will be academic stress for sure, because when the children are entering into adolescence, they are already in class 10 and they're in 11 and 12, where they have to make a very, very strong decision for their life, that what do they want to actually do in their lives. They have to choose a career path. They have to decide what kind of goals they have for their lives. This is all stressing. Then there are one of the another challenges is this family dynamics. At times, there may be difficulties or problems in the families which children are part of this. Maybe there may be differences in the family members which are affecting the child's mind and then his understanding about things. And then we have increased emotional complexity. Like children, sometimes they feel so happy, especially the adolescents, and suddenly when someone says something to them, they may feel hurt or they may feel stressed, or this may cause them anxiety. And then there is self-doubt. Then you all must know that there is a lot of comparison in the children of same age group, that if I look as good as the other person, if I am as attractive as the other person, is my personality so appealing to the others? So these kind of questions put self-doubt in the children. Then there is fear of failure. This is one of the most common challenges in the teenagers or in the adolescents. We see that what if I fail? What will the others say? So कि मेरे फ्रेंड्स मेरे बारे क्या सोचेंगे, कि अगर मेरे मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं आए, मम्मी मेरे बारे क्या सोचेंगे. So these are the challenges that our children are going through, and we need to find out ways and means how we are going to help these children. What is my role as a teacher or as a school counselor or as a principal or as a vice principal? Well, how can I contribute for the well-being of the child? One of the another challenge that I put here is stresses of future goals. This is very, very common in the class when children are in class 10 or in class 12, where they have to choose which career goal they want to have, what do they really want to achieve. So these are some of the common challenges that that the adolescents come across, and we will be in the further slides. We will be trying to understand how we can help the children and how we can contribute towards their growth. So before we go ahead, in order to make this session a little more attractive, I know in the online it's not as good as connectivity, but then you try to understand this video. It's a short video. We'll be watching how a teacher is changing the life of a child with very small steps that the person is taking. Please watch this video. It's just a 1.5 minute video, and then we will continue with the session. Okay, I think there is little difficulty with this video. I won't be able to play, but I will share with you how what is happening in this video. So there is a child who is not scoring well in the exams, and other children are making fun of him. So he's feeling sad and depressed, and then he's also making efforts that how can I do better in my studies? How is he going to improve his academic uh, marks? So when the class teacher comes to know about this, she goes to him and talks to him and finds out why this child is not feeling so well. In the beginning, child was not opening up. He was hesitant. He was not sharing or what difficulties he is facing, what problems he is coming across. But with the help of the teacher, when the teacher says, "Okay, don't worry, I'm here to help you. Do not worry. Okay, I'm not going to judge you. Rather, I just want to listen to your problem and I want to help you." So when the child hears these things, the child feels little comfortable, and with the small talk, they build up a rapport. And once they had built the rapport, the child started pouring out that, "Yes, ma'am, I'm trying my best, but I'm not finding good friends because I'm not having good marks. So everybody laughs at me and they make fun of me. I do not know what to do." And the teacher says, "Don't worry, I'm here to help you." The teacher says that, "Let's find out what are the difficulties that you're facing." So when the child starts finding out and noting down, and there are so many things which he was already knowing. So when he's doing this analysis of what I know and what I do not know in a particular subject, the child starts feeling more enthusiastic and more he starts believing in himself. The teacher says that you're only looking at the things which we do not know. So if you start looking at the things which you know, this will boost your confidence. And in fact, this helped the child to appreciate himself, to understand himself more. And then he started working on things which he was finding difficult in. And this way the child started working little by little, little by little, and his scores improved. So this is just a small story where a teacher made sure that she understands or listens to the problems of this adolescent, and then he makes a change, and then he does well in his studies. So, and then now we are seeing on your screens, there is it's written, there is an iceberg, and what is written is there, "Tip of the iceberg." Okay, what we are seeing in this picture, the iceberg is so huge deep in the water, and it's very small on the surface what we are seeing. This is what we see in our children also. When we look at them from external, or just we saw them, see them and have a glance, we may have a different idea about this child, or he is good or he is bad, he is notorious. But when we try to understand what this child is going through, what difficulties he has, so then we start acknowledging, and then we want to help the child. So the next slide what I have here is, I want you to all pay attention on this slide. This written on the slide: "If you know my story, you will love me. If you know my story, you will love me." This is one of the very fascinating statements for me. So this is the appeal of every child. Every child is appealing, or every child is telling to his or her teacher, or and the person whom he's seeing every day, looking up that they will help me. So he's telling us, or you or me, that if you know my story, you will love me. So whenever we come across children who are a bit notorious in the class, or who are more aggressive, or who are more or hyperactive in the class, who are troubling or creating little bit nuisance in the class, we need to make an effort and understand what this child is actually going through. What are his difficulties? Why is he facing this challenge? Sometimes you all must know this. There was a story about a child who was coming every day late to school, and whose uniform was not ironed well. He was not looking tidy. His hairs were not combed properly. Shoes were not polished, and the teacher was every day angry with this child, that why are you not coming neat? Why don't you take proper bath? Why are you in this particular way? So, and when the teacher got to know that the child is having a lot of difficulties at home, that his father is working somewhere outside and the mother is on the bed, the child started, the teacher started having an empathetic heart towards the child. She started feeling, yes, it is not the fault of this child that is coming to school not properly dressed and not combed, or not have had proper bath. The teacher started understanding the situation of the child, and she started accepting the child as he is or as he was. So this way, whenever we are coming across children who are a bit notorious or who are having uh, difficulty or their behavior is not so acceptable, we need to go a little bit deeper, and we need to find out what is actually happening there and why the child is having this problem. And then what will happen? Naturally, we will start accepting the child, and then we will also look for ways if we can help in some way or whatever way. If we can talk and we can visit, or then we can help the child. So why it is important to address the emotional needs of students? Why it is important? This question must come to in each of our minds, whoever is present in this session. Why are we actually so much concerned about the emotional needs of students? So if I ask a question to all of you, are there uh, physical needs of the children looked after? More or less, those children coming to our school, I think your answer will be yes. Okay, most of them get proper food and they have their clothing, of course. So their physical needs are met, definitely. And then we have children. Also, we are doing a lot of things in our schools where we are helping the children academically. We have regular exams, we have regular tests, we have content prepared for the children. We circulate different literature or assignments in the class where we are also monitoring the growth of the children, and we are facilitating them with various other programs where their academic skills are developing. And then when if I ask a question, how much equipped are we, where we are looking after the needs of the emotional needs of the students? You can chat here. Sorry, you can put a message here. I will try to understand uh, what programs are you actually facilitating for your students in order to look after their emotional needs. If there is any, you can put your name. A name will come automatically. Sorry, you can just put that we have a counselor in the school, or we have any particular program. So that will be able to, in that way, we all can learn from each other also, and it will become a little more interactive. So if any program or if anything that your school is doing for the mental well-being of students, you can put here. Then in meanwhile, I will read them. So otherwise, I will continue with this. So why it is important to address the emotional needs of the teenagers, especially, or the adolescents. So what the first point here is, it is a crucial for overall well-being. When I started with this, when we are talking about the holistic development of the child, we are not looking at only the academic excellence of the child, or we are not looking just the communication skills of the child. We are looking a child as a whole. He is able to communicate well, of course. He is able to present himself well. He is able to analyze the situation. He is able to solve the problems. He is able to make intelligent decisions. He is able to make informed choices regarding his career. He is able to refrain from an action, that what he needs to do and what he must not do. So in order to have the holistic development of the child, we definitely have to have all areas of child's development being covered at a school level. The child, when we talk about as holistic, I'm repeating again, that's why I'm talking that why mental health or why emotional needs of the child should be looked after well, is because we are trying, or we are making efforts to development our children holistically. So the next important point is that adolescents face significant changes and challenges that affect their emotions. So, when a child is very small, at the age of, let's say, 6 or 5 or 8 or 9, they have very much connect with their parents, especially a mother, okay, or the father also, of course. So what the children do, they always share their concerns with their parents, that mommy, today this happened in the school, today I was very happy, today the teacher appreciated me, or today my friend had abused me. Sometimes they say these stories also. You know, Mama, today my friend slapped me. So they are sharing all their concerns. Or I'm not understanding this, Mommy, help me in my homework. Or Papa, this is my difficulty. Can you help me? So children are very vocal, and they connect with the parents when they are in the younger stage. But when they are growing, they are actually looking for independence, of course. They are looking for privacy, of course. They are looking for that I can decide for myself. So there is a little gap between the parent and the child. So this is why in the adolescent stage, it is very, very difficult for the child to talk to the parent as much as he or she used to talk when he was 5 or 6 years old. Because now the child is grown, and he will have many doubts in his mind. As a kid, he would not doubt what will my mother think of me, what my parents' reaction will be to this. But now, when he is growing up, he has started thinking about these things. What will others think of me? What if I tell my parents? How are they going to take this? If they're going to judge me, if they are going to misunderstand this. So this is why we need to make efforts, because as a child, as an adolescent, he or she may not understand. Okay, but as we all have gone through this stage of life, we may be able to understand it better, and we need to approach our children, and we need to make them feel comfortable, where they can openly share, where they can openly discuss the challenges they face, or their happy experiences, or their sad memories, or the bad experience, or whatever difficulties they're facing. And this will happen only when we have a good rapport with the children, when we allow certain space where the children can come, or where children can come forward, and where they can come and talk their concerns. So meeting the third point I'm coming to is meeting emotional needs promises resilience, healthy coping methods, and positive self-esteem. So when the child's all the needs are met. So I will be coming definitely to that also. What are the emotional needs of the adolescents? It could be love, it could be acceptance, it could be they want to be heard. It could be independence. So when all these emotional needs are met, only then children will have a healthy mindset. Only then they will have positive self-esteem. Self-esteem. Otherwise, the child may keep thinking that, oh, I'm not good looking, I'm not smart, or I am not as attractive as the other, or I am not having this thing, or I'm not having that thing. So these things can actually hinder not only the mental abilities of the children, but also physical abilities also. They may be very much afraid of taking any small risks also. They may escape, or they may tend to keep away themselves from the challenging things. So this is why it's important to address the emotional needs of the students. So next we have providing support. Ignoring emotional needs can lead to issues like anxiety, depression, and behavioral problems. Imagine a child who is never feeling accepted. He feels that I'm not accepted. Nobody cares for me. I'm not valued. Can you think of that child having very, very positive mindset to understand the things in the classroom even? I know your answer will be no. Unless and until the child is comfortable with himself or herself, unless and until they have accepted themselves as they are, they may keep thinking about the things which are actually not important in their lives, right? For a child, it's important to study, it's important to think well, it is important to have friends, it's important to have good connections in the class, it's important to have appreciation. But then, if this kind of mindset a child has, if these basic needs are not met, okay, the child is not feeling accepted, the child may not be feeling loved, the child may not be feeling valued, the child may not be feeling heard, and definitely the behavioral problems can happen, anxiety can happen. So I would like to share with you a story. There is a story in class 12 on the face of it. I will just quickly share a few points about the story. In the story, that there is a child. Okay, the child has a burnt face mark on his one side of the face. So the child is always escaping. He thinks that nobody loves me, because uh, somehow the society also has not treated this boy very well. Okay, so the child is not so happy with himself. He wants to remain alone, and he wants to not have many friends. He's afraid of actually meeting people. And then one of the sad statements that the child makes in the story is that even my mother kisses on the other side of my face, which is not burnt. So where this child developed this idea that I am not smart, or I am not good looking, or I am not very attractive, it was at home where he learned. Because the mother may be actually very loving, she may be taking care of things of this child, she may be helping him in all the things, she may be taking him out. But then the child actually felt that yes, my mother does not love me as much as he wanted to be loved. So in this way, this is why the boy throughout the story he keeps escaping, he keeps wandering, he doesn't want to meet people, he just wants to avoid, and this is how the story goes on. Then there are different parts, but then that's what I wanted to say, that just because the child's emotional needs are not met, definitely the child is not going to be very smart in doing other things. He may be shy, he may not be confident at things. So this is why we are talking that yes, emotional needs of the students are important. So another point that why emotional needs are important is providing support and guidance in navigating emotions is essential for adolescents' growth and flourishing. So unless and until children feel loved, they feel accepted, they may not be able to grasp the things in the classroom. They may not be able to communicate well, of course. They may not be able to take up the challenges, or they may be avoiding the situations where they have to participate. It could be a competition or an event at school. So let's continue with this. So now we have understood so far. Now, yes, there are challenges that adolescents face. There are difficulties that they come across. There are problems. So now we are going to understand that how can we teachers through empathy help these children. As the topic of the session is understanding the emotional needs of students through an empathetic approach. So first of all, let us understand what is empathy. So, empathy refers to the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It involves putting oneself in other place shoes and experiencing their emotions from their perspective. We all understand this very well. What is empathy? That putting ourselves in the place of the person who is going through this challenge. It is not just feeling sorry for them. So what when I say that understanding the emotional needs of students to an empathetic approach is that what I want to communicate to you is that when a child say that I am going through this situation, or I am stressed because of this situation, or I am not feeling very happy about this thing, so we need to put ourselves into the place of that child and then experience what pain that I would experience if I were in the place of this student or the child. And what would be my reaction, or how would I take this up? So then we will be able to contribute for the development of our children. So why empathy is important? So one of the I would consider that empathy is not just a quality; it's rather a skill. Okay, why I call it a skill? Because it has to be learned, it has to be practiced. Nobody becomes empathetic person over a night or on a day or two. When we keep experiencing the difficulties of others, when we keep helping them, when we keep giving them a hand of support, we definitely become more empathetic. This is why I think that empathy is a skill. So empathy is crucial for understanding adolescents' emotions and needs. And why it is important? Because adolescents can recognize and validate their emotions, creating a safe and supportive environment for them and experience themselves. Suppose I am not an empathetic teacher. I'm giving my own example. If a child comes and says that, sir, that I have not got good marks in the exam, so I am not feeling good, or I am feeling tensed, or this is what is making me feel stressed. If I'm an angry person, I will say, yes, it's because of you. You haven't studied well. You are responsible for your actions. And you are like this. If I blame that child is not never ever going to come back to me. Or he may never share the difficulties or the problem that he would have. But if I would say, yes, okay, I understand this time you have not done well, let us talk and let us find out where did you make a mistake, and then the child will slowly feel comfortable. And this is true. This is possible only when we are empathetic, only when we can put ourselves into the place of that child who is going through this kind of stress or trauma or difficulty. Why empathy is important? Because it fosters trust by demonstrating to adolescents that their feelings are valued and understood. These are the very, very two important words of all the session: valued and understood. Every adolescent, every teenager wants to be understood. When we do counseling in the school, we have group counseling sessions and the personal counseling sessions. Most of the time, children say that there is no one listening to me, or no one understand me, or my father doesn't understand me, or my friends don't understand me. But then, when as teachers we are able to connect with that child and understand the difficulty of this child, that child is going to remember us for their lifetime. You must have heard this quote. There is saying, no, people will always remember how did you make them feel. If you definitely make them feel, they will surely talk good of you. They will remember this forever in their lives. So this is why empathy is very important, especially for teachers. Actually, empathy everyone has to practice, even if someone is teacher or not a teacher. But for us teachers, where we are dealing with every day at least 200 children about, it's imperative for all of us to be more empathetic, because every child is coming from a different background. Some of them may be having difficulties, as we saw in the earlier slides. Maybe family challenges. There could be peer pressure. There could be academic challenges. There could be personal growth challenges. There could be self doubt. So when their children are going through this kind of situations or difficulties, definitely they need empathetic teachers. And it's everyone attending this session is empathetic, I believe. It facilitates effective communication by promoting active listening. So active listening is another important task for all of us. When we listen, sometimes we may be correcting the copy, or we may be doing some other task, and then the child is going on speaking, and then somehow we are not able to pay attention to that child, and that is not active listening. What is active listening? Active listening, actually, for another word for active listening is whole body listening. That means our mind, our heart, our hands, our full body, or our full attention is toward the child who is sharing his or her difficulties. So active listening is very, very important. If we want to be called empathetic teachers, we have to have active listening skill in us. So empathy plays a crucial role in understanding adolescents' emotional needs by fostering understanding, trust, and communication. By empathizing with adolescents, adults, and peers, create supportive environments where adolescents feel valued, heard, and understood, ultimately promoting their emotional well-being and development. So when we are making the child feel that yes, you are loved, when we make them feel that yes, you are accepted, when we make them feel that yes, you are important, yes, you are worth it, or you are smart or intelligent, definitely children will have emotional well-being, of course, and development as well. So now this is the most crucial slides of this session. What are the emotional needs of adolescents? So if I ask you, before I go ahead with this, what are your emotional needs? I would definitely, I know that you will say that yes, our emotional needs are: we want to be accepted, we want to feel that we belong to the place, we want certain freedom also, we want sense of security, we want understanding. All these needs are also very much important or very, very crucial, especially for adolescents, because most of them are having so many doubts about themselves, about their goals, about their studies, or about their friends, or about their career, that they find it difficult to tackle with these situations. So, one of the foremost or the most important need of an adolescent is that they want to be accepted. How they will feel accepted? When we listen to them attentively. Just now we were talking about active listening. When we listen to an adolescent child very actively, the child will feel, yes, that my teacher has accepted me, or my teacher loves me, my teacher cares for me. And another need of the adolescent is belonging. Every child or every person wants to feel that, yes, I belong to this place. There are certain situations where we find ourselves alone in a crowd. You must have heard this phrase, alone in the crowd. There are so many people, but we don't know whom to talk to. There are a number of people, but there is no one ready to listen to our difficulty. There are so many people, but then there is no one who can say, yes, I'm there for you. So these situations actually make the field children that they do not belong to that place, that they are not valued, that they are not cared for. So another need of a child is autonomy. Okay, autonomy. What is autonomy? Is a sense of freedom, that I have my own freedom and I can do well. So these are the some of the emotional needs of students or the adolescents, because when the children are growing, they are of course looking for certain sense of freedom, because many children complain in the sessions also that I am every time somebody is watching over me, somebody is questioning me, or my mother keep asking me question, which is actually out of concern. But as a child, they don't uh, understand this, why this is happening. Those who are English teachers here, in class 10, there is a very beautiful poem, Amanda. You all must remember. So throughout the poem, we see that Amanda is complaining, or the mother is actually nagging. Okay, Amanda says that I want to be alone, I want to be an orphan child, I want to roam around in the streets, and there is no one questioning me, no one watching over me, no one paying attention to me. What actually caused this situation? Do you think that Amanda's parents were so aggressive that they never cared for her? Please put yes here if you agree with that, otherwise, it's okay. But I'm sure those of you have read that poem. No one of us will say that yes, their parents were very aggressive, that they were always angry, or they did not care, or they did not love the child. They actually loved the child, but their methodology was very different. Okay, the methodology was such that the child was not able to understand that why this is happening, why mother is always behind me. But if we make a room, or if we create certain space where the child can feel that yes, I am loved, I am accepted, definitely the child will understand more, and then they will have little scope for uh, of course for little bit scrutiny or disciplining as well. So security, every adolescent or every person wants to feel secure. When do actually people feel insecure is that when they feel that yes, somebody is threatening me, or somebody is threatening my privacy, or somebody is watching over me, or somebody is uh, uh, causing any trouble to me. But then most of the schools, I think every school actually makes efforts where the children are safe and secure, and hardly we hear of the cases where security is actually there are security labs. But then on the whole, we see that definitely good things are happening. So then we have another need of the emotional adolescent is that they want to be understood. Okay, understood, and they want validation. Like what others think of me is very important to them, rather what they think about themselves. So it is good for us as teachers also to uh, appreciate the children when they do something good, and when they do something wrong, we also need to understand that yes, it's okay. As a child, you have done this mistake, and you accept that, and next time you do not make the same mistake. And then when we say these things to child, the child is going to appreciate and make efforts to not repeat that mistake. So this is a task for every all of us. Then we have next slide is they want to have certain respect also. Like when the child is very small, we can scold them publicly, definitely. I'm not saying we should not scold the grown-ups publicly, but then if we can tell the thing which actually the child has done something wrong in a polite manner, or in a place where others are not listening, definitely the child is going to appreciate you, and then he'll say, "Yes, my teacher cares for me." Because at times, what I hear when children are being scolded, especially boys, they say, "Sir, you have scolded me in front of the class, and now they are making fun of me." And then my friends also got to know that I have done this mistake, and then this causes them, sense of disrespect for themselves. And this is why we are talking that yes, we need to fulfill these emotional needs of our students in order that they feel accepted, they feel loved, and then they can develop holistically. Then we have appreciation, being valued and heard. So I'm putting them together because time is running short and I haven't finished. So those of you are asking for the attendance link, it will be shared with you in some time. So don't worry, attendance will be marked. All right. So what child needs is that he wants to be appreciated, and it's one, I think one of the good qualities of every good teacher is that they appreciate their children for small things, very little things. If they've done something small, let's appreciate them. Let's not wait for the big things to happen. So next we have communication strategies for empathetic understanding. There are three strategies that I have put here that we all can practice in our daily lives in order to help our children. Number one is active listening technique. You see this picture, it looks so beautiful, sorry, where a person is sitting and both are having a very good smile on their faces. This is active listening technique. No one is looking at another place. No one of them is using mobile and talking. No one is looking down. Both are looking in their eyes and both are looking at each other. And this is actually what we call is active listening. Then we have the children want to be validate their feelings. So when the child has done something wrong, it's okay. The child has done something wrong. There is no point in there is no point in blaming the child that you are like this only. You always do this mistake. Every time you are like this. Last time also did the same thing. Once it is done, is done. We cannot change what has happened in the past, but what we can change is that what will happen in the future. So if the child comes and shares their difficulty, yes, ma'am, I have done this mistake, and if we accept the child in a positive way and make him understand or her understand, there is a chance for improvement in the future. Because if we if we allege the child, or if we scold or harm the child, or if we insult the child, and this will cause another problems, because the child is already in a difficulty that he has done something. But then we can avoid the things which may not happen in the future. Then last we have avoiding judgment and criticism. When a child is talking, let's not find them guilty. This is why I'm reminding again, this is why we are talking. Let's understand the needs of the students through an empathetic approach. When a child does something wrong and comes to you or to me, I or you, let us put ourselves in the child's place and see how would be my reaction, or what would have I done if I were in the place of that child. Then definitely our approach will be different. Maybe we'll be little more polite, because thinking that yes, I were also same like that kid. Although these things are easily said than done, it's difficult with the so much of tension or with so much of work pressure. Yes, it's difficult, but then yes, we all can make efforts to make some positive changes in ourselves, or in our attitude, or in our daily dealings with the children. Of course, for the well-being of our children, and definitely it's the well-being of ourselves also. Okay. So then we have, I had actually three case studies, but I will be dealing with one only. Then we'll skip to. So Sarah is 15 year. This is a girl who was having peer pressure and acceptance issue, and how the teacher has helped this person. So that's what we are seeing. So Sarah is a 15-year-old girl, high school student. She feels pressured by her peers to engage in risky behavior such as underage drinking and smoking. And this is why she's feeling this, because others say if you do not do this thing, do not fit in our group, so you are not accepted socially. So what is the approach of the teacher? Rather than dismissing Sarah's behavior as rebellious and irresponsible, her parents engage her in an open and non-judgmental conversation. They express empathy for the challenges she is facing and the peer pressure that she is coming across every day. So these ways they explore healthier ways to be accepted. So if the parents of the Sarah had, had they been very arrogant and angry, listening that yes, you should not mingle with the students, that you should not go to school, or you should complain about them, you should do this or do that, they actually engage in healthy ways. That let us find out more healthy ways which are more acceptable. So, so these are the distressing signs, or when we need to be very careful that yes, the child is having crisis, or the child's emotional needs are not met. So, number one is sudden change in behavior. If they're suddenly their behavior is changed, or physical symptoms, they are harming someone or fighting, or their academic performance is going down, or they're socially withdrawing, or they are wanting to cause harm to themselves or the other person, or their hygiene is not proper, or they're withdrawing from activities. These are some of the symptoms that will help us that yes, this child is in need of our support, or his emotional needs are not met. Although these are just symptoms, these are not facts. So what are the strategies that we have to follow in our daily lives in order to understand the needs of emotional needs of children? Number one is active listening, then perspective talking taking. Sorry. Let us look at the problem from our perspective. If I were in the place, then self-reflection is important. Empathy exercises we can do, and then we have seek feedback. Okay, and then practice empathetic responses. So these are some of the ways, or these are some of the strategies that can help us to be more empathetic. You can take a screenshot if required, and then you can understand it a little more because time is short now. So these are few ways which are helping us. So I have put something there on the just towards the end of the slide. Self affirmation. What is self affirmation? I think self affirmation is one of the success mantras that we all should follow in our lives. So I'm giving it to you because I received from others, and then we can share with others also that the success mantra. What is self affirmation? Affirming ourselves as we are, and accepting ourselves and appreciating ourselves. So these are the emotional needs. What will happen if their emotional needs are met? There will be improved communication, better problem solving, positive